showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Raise up a white flag. Didn't come this far just to turn back. The curtains fall for the last act. Breaking that levee, breaking that levee. We don't back down. This is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait to see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we're showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down. This is what we're made of. Standing our ground. Here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait to see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
It's explosive. You can't control this, no. I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield, a survivor, never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shade. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat on my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. You can't control this, I'm explosive.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to coverage of iRacing on LSRTV. The next round of the Season 11 Northwest Truck Series. Season 11 rolls on, and we welcome you again to virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tonight, it is the Roll the Dice 201, 201 miles. Probably 134 laps the distance. And we welcome you also for those that are joining us on the Community Radio Network as well. I'm Wesley Outlet as always. Jason Rockefeller, color analyst Charles Wooten, fat guy and production man. And all right, Jason, we're ready to go here, man. We had a fun time in Atlanta last week. And obviously we've got two different winners in the season. It's Team LSRTV. Jeff Stabnow, Daytona, Sean Breitzman, Atlanta. Who will prevail here at Virtual Sim City tonight?
Yeah, good evening, Wesley. It's awesome to be back here again for the third race of the season, especially at Las Vegas. This track has been really awesome race-wise with the trucks. I remember, if I'm correct, I believe last year I wasn't able to call the race with you, but I believe you guys had a photo finish here last season and ended up seeing... it was Kevin Smith, not Kevin Smith. Who was it last year? I think it was, oh my goodness, who was it last season?
I'm getting old. I can't remember.
Kevin Smith.
Like
it was Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith.
I want to say it was Kevin Smith and Ryan Bloom.
Yeah,
Kevin and Ryan Bloom, I believe. Yeah.
Kevin Smith and Dennis Moore.
Sorry, Charles, I'm still around.
Were the top three. And it was an awesome race, I know. I watched a little bit of it. This track is really primarily, Wesley, with these trucks, the drafting racetrack. We've already seen it this season with the Real Life Truck Series. We saw it with Road to Pro already. We saw it with me and Charles got to call a race here for the FTSR Series, their truck series, back a few weeks ago here. Awesome, awesome race. I'm sure we're looking forward to a good one here tonight.
Going to be a fun one. Let's take a look now at James Vining. Toyota number 333. Notice he changed his number. No longer 321. 333 on the Aztec Sim Racing Shoes. Sports number 333 is again, as I mentioned. Let's take a look real quickly at the race analysis for tonight. Bottom left, there it is. Any moment. Presented by Hunt the Front TV. No fast repair. 100% fuel. Unlimited amount of tires tonight. 3 attempts at a green-white checker if necessary. 201 miles, 131 laps. And Jason, I got to ask you, we're 3 weeks into the season now. What's your take of the no, if you will, fast repairs? I'm liking it. I really am.
Oh, I don't just like it, Wesley. I love it. It's awesome because it gives these guys an opportunity to drive a little bit more on the edge, and that knowing that they have to take care of the drivers around them and also themselves. You know, we saw that be a big thing at Daytona. We didn't really see any wrecking at all in the race until the very end. Last week at Atlanta, the same thing happened. A lot of guys were really calm towards the end of the race. They got really racy. Sean Brightsman and Jeff Stabnow took 4 tires in the pits. They had that last set of tires remaining. They were able to get out to the front, and ultimately Jeff Stabnow paid homage to the 20, or not the 24 rather, but 46 of Sean Brightsman, let him win that race, but also really tried to give him a good fight for it. And it was a great finish. It was a great race, great battle up front. But you can't mention the fact, too, that the 3 dominant trucks basically not, in a sense, took each other out, but they all took each other out one way or another more than halfway through the race. Dennis Moore, Kevin Smith, Ryan Bloom all got taken out when they were the 3 fastest trucks. They pretty much handed that win away to the LSRTV drivers last week of Jeff Stabnow and Sean Brightsman picking up that win. So 2 races in, 2 LSRTV racing drivers already up on the top of the charts here, you know, with the wins tallied up. You could very well see the same thing here tonight. You know, it's going to be interesting. I know we have 3 new drivers to the series here tonight from what it looks like. Todd Miles in the 62. Eric, I think it's Bolton, so we're just going to try to see how that's pronounced. He's in the 31 here tonight. And there's one other driver. Yep, Lad Ronning in the 14 machine. So 3 drivers. What do they have for this field here tonight? We're going to find out and see. It should be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's really good to have them new drivers on board for Season 11 of the Northwest Racing Truck Series. And right now we watch the Coors Rodeo number 125 Chevrolet. This is Chase Carrillo finishing up with his qualifying lap. Carrillo 39.34. Well, that's good enough for the top 20. Got to pick it up, though.
Yeah, definitely going to have to pick it up. But listen to this. Front of the field in qualifying right now. Guess what? Frank Harris, fastest driver in qualifying right now with a 30.429 over Dennis Moore's 30.460. I know that, you know, 300s rather may not seem like a lot, but that's a good amount of time for Frank Harris against Dennis Moore, man. We know Frank really stepped it up big time as Devin West, as I say that, goes up to the top of the charts. But regardless, second place right now, Frank Harris. Last year, we were used to seeing him run mid to back of the pack, wrecking a lot. Then towards the end of the season, he really stepped it up, man. Was really strong at Daytona, had a solid run going in Atlanta, and tonight he's running P2 in qualifying. I mean, what more could you ask for Frank Harris in the 77 machine? He could be a driver who takes one away tonight, possibly.
Jeff Stabnow, new colors, by the way. How about that, Jason? Look at that sharp wrap job on the new number 24.
Yeah, that might be the trading paints era that we're still noticing. So yeah, I do see it. It is a trading paints era.
Damn trading paints. Okay. Yeah, Sean Brightsman's truck don't look the same either. Normally he's teal green in the Brights Boutique colors. So yeah, yeah. I do like it like that, though. I do. But obviously, if we're seeing it in the broadcast booth, you folks are seeing it on the broadcast audience. So, yeah, there you go. Sean Brightsman and Jeff Stabnow, most recent winners on the year. Jeff Stabnow ended almost a 4-year losing streak whenever he picked up the 4-year winning streak whenever he picked up the win, of course, at Daytona. Sean Brightsman last week winning at, of course, Atlanta.
Wesley, I really like this truck, actually. I might just tell Sean Brightsman to keep this thing, dude. This is awesome. I love it. It's like a Tron paint scheme.
There you go. And there you go. Ryan, yeah, there's something going on with trading paints. I like that color for Kevin Smith, actually, too. Yeah.
This is a blessing in disguise for us, I guess.
Stephen O'Hara, the 41. While we're watching the wrong wraps on Trading Paints trucks. Let's take a look also at the weather conditions leading up to tonight's event. Bottom right of the monitor, there it is, presented by Kaufman Creative. 79 air temp in the sim, wind speed 13, 12 miles an hour, track temp at 84. And I believe this race is going to be in the daytime too, which is going to make it interesting, obviously, Jason.
Yeah, I believe it is going to be the daytime, and that wind speed too. I mean, it's not like it's a drastic 20 miles an hour, but still 12 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour wind speed is going to make these trucks handle a little bit differently depending on how the wind is coming at them, whether it's coming from turns 3 and 4,
right,
headway down the back straightaway. It's going to create more of a draft wake, obviously, or you know, maybe if it's pushing the truck down the back straightaway coming from turn 1 into turn 3, it could really upset these trucks. We'll have to find out and see. I'm really interested to see how this race is going to go. And again, I said it last season for the 10th anniversary, or rather the 10th season of the Northwest, series. It was the most competitive season we'd probably seen yet. And I tell you what, so far this season, it has looked really competitive. And when you look at the names, Wesley, up inside this top 10, some of them, Frank Harris, Ron Hunter, Roy Grande, all drivers who right now sit inside the top 10 in qualifying, they have great shots to go out here and win tonight. We'll just have to see what they can do, man. But there's a lot of guys who we're used to seeing up at the front. They had poor qualifying runs. There's guys we're seeing at the back. They had great qualifying runs. This is a really interesting scenario here as Kevin Smith goes to second up on the scoring pylon right now behind Devin West. I'm really excited to see how this race unfolds.
It looks like qualifying is about to conclude. Unless there's any more takers, obviously, it looks like there's about 12 more minutes left, but I just don't see – well, I mean, we got a couple of drivers. Ray Fournier and Scott Hutchinson have not taken time yet. If they are, they better hurry up. Nope, there it goes. Clock's expired, and we are ready to roll. Sim time, 2 hours, 10 minutes, 201 miles, 134 laps. And here's your starting lineup. Good to see Devin West back this year with us as well. From Shelton, Washington on the pole. And, of course, the Walla Walla, Washington native, Kevin Smith, row 1. Row 2, we'll find Ryan Bloom. And how about Frank Harris? What a qualifying run for the legend of the 77. Row 3, got to find Ron Hunter. Jeff Stabnow, Daytona winner. Row 3. Row 4, Dennis Moore. Winner last week in Atlanta, Sean Brightsman, your top 10. Looks like this. Dan West Jr., father-son here. Two-time series champion, and Roy Grande in the 11. We'll start 10th. Jason.
Top 20, row number 6, Tyler King in the number 21, alongside Joshua Marcy in the number 35 to the outside. Row number 7, you'll find Brian Barnes and Terry Ackerman for Ackerman in the 557 machine on the outside. Row number 8, Stephen O'Hare in the number 41 machine alongside Chris White in the number 56. Row number 9, you're going to see Paul Newton in the number 27 machine and Troy Daggett in the number 99, who's had a great start to the season so far. Row number 10, Gary Nichols, Chris Kynes in the number 88.
Row 11 will find Ryan Gormley, the prodigy, and Brett Johnson for Team LSRTV alongside. Row number 12, Carl Burke, Chad Malik in the 33. Row 13 tonight, Todd Miles, one of the new drivers, and the Catman James Vining back in his original number. Row 14 will find Stephen Paulison and William Fletcher in the 28. Top 30 will see Ladd Ronning as well as Chase Carrillo in the 125. Row 16, Toby Ritters and Eric Bolton, one of the 3 new drivers. Row 17 will find Dana Rogers, Ray Fournier, and Scott Hutchinson will tag the back of 35 trucks if they all attempt to take the green. Right now it looks like Carl Burke and Scott Hutchinson have bowed out unless they enter from the pit lane. All right, Jason. 200 miles. This is a very fun track on the 1.5 miles here at Sim City. This is a fun race. I think we're going to have an interesting show and something definitely we got to watch as well. Daytime conditions in years past this race has been ran at night.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. This track's going to have a little bit more less grip than it would in the nighttime, but obviously with the wind, how is that going to affect these trucks? How will it affect the draft? Where is it going to be pointing? When will it point to a different direction? It's all stuff we're going to have to find out and see. What will the trucks handle like here on the opening laps? And obviously drafting is going to become a factor tonight. We saw it in the league that me and Charles covered on a few weeks ago. We saw it in Road to Pro. They're getting ready. 201 miles. We're ready to go, baby, from Las Vegas.
It is time to roll the dice in Sim City. Round 3 of the year is green at Vegas. Quickly, Devin West on the hole shot down to the inside. Kevin Smith in tow, Ryan Bloom right there, top 3. Behind them, they are 2 by 2, about 2 truck lengths back as they hit the Nellis straightaway for the first time. Jason in 3.
Top 3 breakaway with West, Smith, and Bloom, while Moore and Hunter battle side by side going into 3 and 4. Frank Harris trying to look for a way around Hunter on the outside as he pushes him down the front straightaway. Devin West going to lead lap number 1. Only 133 more to go as they head back to 1.
So getting this started now with West, the man out in front. Smith right there in tow. Here comes now Bloom inside. Smith right there with company with also Bloom, Dennis Moore. Remember, Trading Paints is acting up, so some of the wrap jobs do not look like their original wraps on their trucks. Battle for the lead going to turn 1.
Yeah, Kevin Smith, great entry point coming on the exit of turn number 4 to get down to the bottom of Devin West, and he's going to utilize that inside lane to his advantage, but it's so hard with the aerodynamic dependency of these trucks. Obviously, they get stalled out when they go side by side. And a track like this, Wesley, where you're pretty much full throttle the whole time until you get a little later on in the runs when you got to conserve a little bit of tire, take care of your truck, take care of yourself, and also the drivers around you. It's really hard to make passes unless you have just a little bit of help or have just a really good handling truck, great entry and exit speed. Kevin Smith, though, might clear Devin West here coming off turn number 2, but he won't. They're going to remain side by side and brings Ryan Bloom into the picture, who was running top 3 last week at Legacy Atlanta until he ended up wrecking. He's going for second on the bottom of Devin West as Smith clears Devin on the outside.
Saves that spot, working their way back to the corner again. Working now 4 of 134 laps in this one. Now Kevin Smith to the top, to the lead. Bloom on the inside, Devin West outside lane, and they're trying to get something started with Stab now. Pulling up in front, Dennis Moore throwing the block on Dan West Jr. as they work into 3 and 4.
They'll file back out down to the bottom. Stab now thought about clearing his teammate Sean Brightsman off turn number 3 and 4. He does as they all file back in line. Bloom still battling with West as they head back to 1 and 2. The field scrambles going down past the billboards in 1 and 2 off the corner. Got to be mindful of the bump. You see Ron Hunter start to travel up the racetrack on the exit of turn number 2. Stacks up the outside a little bit towards the middle of the pack, but it's all Kevin Smith still up at the front of this field with Devin West and Bloom still side by side for second off 4.
Coming down to the line through the Pennzoil restart zone, and there you see now Dan West Jr., Jeff Stab now right there in tow, along with Sean Brightsman. That's Team LSRTV right there, climbing 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th on the racetrack. Then you got King in tow. All this happening now as they work the back straightaway. Devin West on the outside lane. He's got company from Ryan Bloom to the bottom, and they're going to carry Smith for the lead into turn 3 and 4.
Smith still holding the lead as they come off turn number 4 this time by. It looks like Dan West Jr. having a little bit of a connection issue here. Keeps blinking in and out, going off the scoring pylon, going off the racetrack. Something that might be happening for the driver of the number 55 after such a dominating performance last year, not just here, but in the series in general. Wants to make sure he can finish this one and have a great finish. And right now, battling some connection issues, they head off turn number 4 as he battles with Jeff Stab now for the 5th spot.
Dennis Moore inside of Devin West. They battle door to door. There's now Dan West Jr., son, father, right now on the outside lane. This is going on for 4th and 5th. Stab now back to the inside. Dennis Moore up in front of them. Couple of bomb speed drivers for Win Racing now. Flank to 1 and 2. Behind them, it's LSRTV. Win Racing, LSRTV, LSRTV, Win Racing, LSRTV right now as they come back to the line.
Great side-by-side action here as they hit the front straightaway back into turn number 1. Still Kevin Smith with the lead. Him and Ryan Bloom are clear back of the 3rd and 4th drivers of Moore and Devin West. They're up on the outside. They still battle door handle to door handle. This time heading into turn number 3, and the outside has a good surge of momentum into turn number 3. Just not enough to get to the bumper of Smith as he travels up the racetrack, and Bloom tries the block, thinks about it. He'll clear the 5 off the corner, but just by mere inches as they hit the line this time.
10 laps in right now. Your top 10 include Kevin Smith, Ryan Bloom, Devin West, Dennis Moore, Dan West Jr., the top 5. The bottom 5 including Jeff Stabnow, Sean Brightsman, Tyler King, Frank Harris, Stephen O'Hare. Long way to go. They're on the Dallas straightaway in the battle for the lead in 3.
Battle for the race lead. Here comes Ryan Bloom, but he travels up the racetrack through 3 and 4, brings along Dan West Jr. and Sean Brightsman up at the top. While Brightsman thought about going to the bottom, he'll elect to go to the top, still in tow with the 55 of West. Back to turn number 1. They'll clear Devin on the bottom. He falls back to 5th, hits the apron, climbs up the racetrack, able to save it. Still Smith out front by 2 car lengths as they head down the Dallas Airport Speedway track.
Into turn number 3, Kevin Smith in that top spot, the boss of Win Racing, leading the cavalry on the outside lane. Ryan Bloom in the 25 Chevrolet. Couple of Chevrolets in the top 3. Then you got a Toyota between 4th, 5th, and 6th in the Chevrolet. 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th are all Fords and Toyotas now. Toyota back into the top 10. Flip-flopping, tittering between Stephen O'Hare and Roy Grande for that spot in the top 10. Meanwhile, they're getting unorganized. Back again with the leader in 3.
Dan West Jr. wants this race lead. He's going to try to go to the inside, follow Kevin Smith as he clears Bloom off the corner. Not enough there. Bloom still to the outside quarter panel of the 55, while Devin West still falls back to about 7th place right now, while his father, Dan West Jr., going for the race lead now through 1 and 2. Off the corner, Bloom able to give that arrow push to Smith as they hit the back straightaway into turn 3.
Kevin Smith, Ryan Bloom, Dan West Jr., 1, 2, and 3. Dennis Moore now. Look at this gaggle of traffic working off 4 as now Bloom goes up high. Behind the tailgate of the leader, Smith. Inside comes the leader now. A new opportunity awaits for Dan West Jr. He can't open the door. He'll still pull into the trigger into 1.
3 wide for the race lead entering turn number 2. Kevin Smith just barely able to clear the 25 off turn number 2. You would think they're racing like it's the last 10 laps here, the way they've been doing it for the first 15 here. Back to turn number 3. Still Smith with the lead. In tow is Bloom. Then you have Dennis Moore up on the outside, followed by Jeff Stabnow. That's your outside lane. Inside led by Dan West Jr. Our first caution flies of the evening. Looks like possibly Joshua Marcy coming out of turn number 4.
The 35 Toyota Marcy. Nichols is behind them, and let's see a replay of what put us under our first caution of the race after 15 laps. Jason, you saw it break loose in turn number 3 and 4. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he just got really loose coming out into turn number 3. It looks like he kind of tried to arc it a little bit wider than what he should have. And when he got down there, the truck just jumped around on him. You can't necessarily go completely full throttle when you're about 15 or 20 laps on these tires here, Wesley, especially with these trucks, because no matter what, as much grip as these trucks have at some points, you're going to get loose, obviously. And then the 8 of Gary Nichols just did not slow down enough, didn't give the 35 a chance to really even, kind of catch himself. Ultimately just ran him into the back and sent him around there coming off turn 4.
And pit road is open. Drivers are taking the opportunity to come in here in the early going.
Some drivers are elected to stay out.
Yeah.
Some drivers stayed out there. Ron Hunter, Chris Kynes, Troy Daggett, Chad Malik, Gary Nichols in the 8 stayed out, Terry Ackerman, Toby Ritters, James Vining, Stephen Paulison, Eric Bolton, Dana Rogers. All these drivers stayed out. So you're looking at about almost half the field, Wesley, stayed out under this caution. This is going to change it up big time. And I tell you what, man, 15 laps, the difference on tires, that's a big difference when you come to a track here like Atlanta. I mean, excuse me, still in the mindset of last week, Vegas.
If you're in the mindset of Atlanta here tonight at Vegas, it's still a mile and a half. Maybe next week we'll definitely change things up for you as we're going short track racing at the 3/4 mile. Richmond Raceway, short track first race of the year next Monday night. Make sure you make your plans to join us for coverage of the Ford Owners 160. That will be next Monday night. From there on, it's on to Texas for Cody's Frozen Custard 201. I guess Cody is popular for making frozen custard. And then Kansas for the Bread Basket 201. Yeah. That's the month of April. We will take off on Monday, May the 6th, and the rest of the schedule will be decided from there. So, we're under yellow flag. Looks like Hunter going to be the new man in the front. Look at that. Ron Hunter.
And he was up at the front there, Wesley, early on, right at the start of this race, and he kind of started to fall back. Remember, started in the top 5, started in 5th, actually. He's already up 4 spots. And the way this is shaking out with all the drivers that came down pit road. So Chris Kynes is going to gain 18. He's 2nd. Malik gained 21. He's 3rd. Nichols gained 15. He's in 4th. Ackerman is up 9. He's in 5th. Clifford's in 6th. He's up 25. Vining's in 7th, up 19. And then you have a driver like Sean Breitzman, who's still in 8th somehow. Stephen Paulison up 18 and 9th. Eric Bolton, 10th. 22 up. Dana Rogers is going to be 13th plus 20. So this is a really big shakeup at the front of the field. I'm really interested to see how these 15, 16 lap older tires are going to hold off against the rest of this field, how they're going to fall off, are they going to be able to maintain up front with the draft, and obviously, what are the guys on these fresher tires here going to do? They're going to have to navigate this traffic. This is going to look like almost like the restart late in the going like we saw last week in Atlanta, Wesley. Remember, a few laps to go. Jeff Stabnow and Sean Breitzman elected to come to the pit road. They had one more set in the pit box compared to everybody else who took them all. They drove from 15th, 12th, and they ended up coming home 1-2. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out as we get the 1-to-go signal this time.
Lights off on the pace truck, or the pace car, my apologies. Cloud cover over the racetrack right now as well. This race is supposed to be in daytime conditions, but man, it is cloudy right now. We'll move into the restart of the races. You see Ron Hunter as the leader. The Raptor number 88 is Chris Kynes. Usually he's in the Mountain Dew colors, changing things up, obviously, because we're having a trading paints issue. Gary Nichols, Chad Malik right now will be the new men up there. Toby Ritters, Clifford back in the top 5 as they work down the Nellis straightaway. In case you didn't know, that's the Nellis Air Force Base across from the back straightaway at virtual Sim City, and at the real Las Vegas Motor Speedway there is the ready for the restart. All right, let's try this again. It'll be lap number 19 of 134. Pretty good opportunity to get things started, see what they have. And right now, Jason, we'll get ready to bring them back to the Pennzoil restart zone. Ready for green. Let's see it again. It is Geico restart zone. My apologies. Back underway. Ron Hunter, Chris Kynes. Kynes way up high, using every inch of Vegas as they climb into turn number 1.
And back into turn number 1 they go. Kynes and Hunter are going to be side by side. We'll see what these guys on fresher tires can do as they hit the Nellis straightaway down into turn number 3. Still side by side. Hunter, though, Hunter's actually peeling off. He just peeled off the racetrack. He's going into 3 and 4 on the apron. So something of a miss for the driver of the 30. Maybe an issue, maybe something happening. Not too sure. We'll get an update possibly on that soon as they hit the start-finish line. This time by now, Chris Kynes, or rather Chad Malik, going for the race lead on Kynes into 1.
Working off of 2 now, down the back straightaway. How about Chad Malik up 23 spots to the lead? Toby Ritter's, by the way, in third, up 28 spots to the third spot. Battles alongside with Terry Ackerman. Ackerman, Vining coming through as they go back to the line on lap 20.
Ackerman down to the bottom. He'll be able to take that third spot away. A little bit of jockeying for position back behind him. 3 wide between Breitzman, Bolton, and also Smith as they come off turn number 2. Big gaggle of trucks right here in the middle of the pack. This could get hairy. It might not work, boys. Better be careful here going into turn number 3. They got to keep care of these trucks, so take care of them, take care of each other here. Still 3 wide off turn number 4. They're getting really tight here back to the start-finish line. 4 wide as James Vining goes all the way to the bottom into 1 and 2.
And 3 wide, Nichols up the hill, Ackerman in the middle, down to the front goes Breitzman, give him room, and he's sideways.
Save it.
Holds on to the truck, and they're going to try to go 4 wide down the kid. Wow.
That was crazy. That's Wesley, that was a wreck that was brewing from the entrance of 3 to the exit of 2, but somehow they were able to unfold it, unravel it, and it all settled out and simmered out. Great job by the... Heck, they're still going 3 wide back there. Lots of drivers fighting hard going into turn number 1. I am shocked these guys are racing as clean as they are. No issues right now. Doing a great job. Malik's still with the lead. And those guys on fresher tires, man, they are playing a villain on these drivers who stayed out.
Scoring ticker up top, and we got problems. Dana Rogers is collected. It looks like he got into the 74. Oh, man. And the caution out for the second time. Here's a look at what happened. There's the 07 of Dana Rogers. Fletcher behind him, and the 56 turned him. Wow, that's Chris White. Ooh. And then nowhere to go for our buddy right there in the 74 machine. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, my apologies. That's actually Lad Ronning. My apologies, Lad Ronning. I thought it was a 74. It's a 14. As we got drivers coming down to the pit lane. Here they come. Some pitted the first time, others didn't, but they're pitting now, though, Jason.
Yeah, they almost have to pit. You'd have to think here, Wesley. I mean, with how strong those guys were on the 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, it was almost a necessity to come to pit road and put some tires on these things here. But they're going to have a little bit fresher tires here. Not going to make a ton of differences, but we'll see how it plays out for them. Some drivers, though, still electing to stay out. Terry Ackerman in the 557 machine. So did Eric Bolton, the rookie in the 31 machine. He's able to stay out as well. They're in 2nd and 6th, or 5th rather, so they're still holding on to, you know, since they've been out there on that previous restart. Interested to see how this restart will shake things up.
Caution coming out again for the second time. Real quickly, let's take a look at the race summary so far, closing into the first 25 laps. 2 caution flags, 4 caution laps, and so far 5 lead changes. That's brought to you by Virginia811.com, reminding you to dig with care. Quick break. We're also at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds for radio identification. The Northwest Racing Series Roll the Dice 201 continues from virtual Sim City on CRN and LSRTV. This is iRacing.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM. Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here at Vegas as the caution is about to expire for the second time, along with, of course, producer Snackman Charles Wooten, Jason Rockefeller. I'm Wesley Outland. Jason, what's your take of the race so far? The opening 30 laps been pretty exciting.
Yeah, man, it's been pretty exciting. Like we talked about, it was going to be, that typical drafting race here, at Las Vegas, like we've seen over the past couple seasons with these trucks. And I mean, even in real life, this track has really been a drafting track pretty much. Not like the new Atlanta, not obviously like Talladega or Daytona, but drafting is a big factor because of how aerodynamically dependent these trucks are on the racetrack. And even over the last few years in the real life situation, it's been a drafting racetrack. It's been close races. You think back to, I believe it was like, who was it? I think it was Ben Rhodes and Christopher Bell. They battled really hard, nearly had a photo finish here a few years ago in the truck race at night. It's just been always one of those tracks where you have to have a great truck. Track position is definitely key, but if you have a strong enough truck, if you have the tires, if you have a good enough driver behind the truck, you can get to the front pretty quickly, and you can set yourself up for grace in this.
There you go. The lights are off on the pace car. So we'll set him up for another restart here. Kevin Smith in front, Terry Ackerman second, Sean Brightsman third. Jeff Stabnow right there with each other in fourth. Eric Bolton, welcome to the series in that number 31 machine. He's in fifth.
Great job.
Pace car. Yeah, nice looking truck. Pace car on pit lane. And all right, Jason, let's go back to green here. Don't count out Ryan Gormley, man, the prodigy from the Xfinity Series last year up in the trucks, and he's right there in the catbird seat of the top five as Smith sells him off back into turn one.
Yeah, first truck on those four fresh Goodyear Eagles, taking advantage of them back to the race lead now, and Sean Brightsman, though, follows him right back behind him there for Team LSRTV. He'll go down to the bottom of the racetrack, go for the lead on Kevin Smith, entering 3 and 4, put about 2 truck lifts apart from each other. Jeff Stabnow coming into the picture as well. Looks like shades of last week. Remember, Sean Brightsman and Jeff Stabnow finished 1 and 2. They're trying to go 1-2 right now. It's Kevin Smith that separates them as Smith goes back to the bottom into 1.
Smith outside, inside. Here comes Brightsman. And with that, Stabnow right there. And inside comes the 24. Smith up the hill. Oh, he's got to get off the binders. Keep it off the wall with a save there for the 0-0. They're going to battle side by side as they go into 1.
Back to turn number 1. Brightsman went back down to the bottom. Smith was there 1 lap ago. Now Stabnow follows back behind his teammate, so they're going to work together down this back straightaway. And why they duke it out for the race lead. Fourth has a nice little battle going on between Eric Bolton and Dennis Moore. Look at Bolton, the rookie, trying to get up into the top 5, and he does. Trying to clear Dennis Moore, but he cannot. He'll get help from Devin West right back behind him, while Jeff Stabnow is trying to look for a way around Smith into 1.
Brightsman to the lead. Smith up high for second. Here comes Stabnow. Lap truck down to the inside. Ray Fournier, plenty of room. Door to door.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah. Wow.
Eric Bolton got
boy.
loose. Eric Bolton just got really loose there, Wesley. Coming out of turn number 4, nearly just took out the number 5, and the leaders just nearly took each other out right there.
Ryan Gormley almost involved in that tangle right there with Bolton and Harris. And while that goes on, look at the leaders, top 3 rows, door to door. They are fighting at it for their own spot to the inside. Smith up high. Brightsman, Stabnow. Bloom is going to go to the bottom and hook up with Devin West. He's going to try to start a third lane as they go to 1.
1 lap to go. Devin West nearly got wrecked by Eric Bolton coming out of 4. Now he finds himself back from 7th to 3rd in 1 lap. Oh, believe me, we have a big crash going down into the front straightaway. Noticing a lot of drivers going down on the scoring pylon. Terry Ackerman is involved in this one. I believe Dana Rogers, Ron Hunter. It looked, I don't know if it was a big wreck, Wesley, but just by the scoring pylon, the amount of names that jumped down, I think it was a pretty big wreck.
Toby Ritters is being showed as the number 3 instead of a 23. Let's watch what happened to Ackerman here. 3 wide. Oh, he got turned into the fence with the help of William Fletcher. Maybe it didn't turn out as bad as we thought. Unless there's more accidents happen that we didn't see.
I think Charles is about to show us something. Maybe it looked like there was a lot more going on down in turn number 1. I'm not too sure. I mean, by the yeah. Well, there you go. Oh, okay. I guess Charles is just going to continue to eat pizza. What kind of pizza you eating there, Charles? Let the audience know.
Old man.
Pit stops. Maybe? Nah.
No, I don't see anybody pitting right now.
What?
All right, word of caution. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm taunting. I'm taunting Charles in the background. He keeps calling me an old man, Jason, because I'm eating Werther's original hard caramel candies, like butterscotch,
those aren't
right?
that bad. Those
Exactly.
aren't. Those things are amazing. What are you talking about? I have those at work all the time. My manager at work actually has those.
You called me an old man.
Hey, you're caught.
First off, you need to learn how to read, Charles, because they're not butterscotch. They're caramel hard candies. That's the first thing. No, I did not. I said they're like butterscotch.
I wish the audience sometimes at home and the CRN listeners could listen to you two bicker, because you guys are like an old married couple when you guys bicker. It's like, you're old, no, you're old. Wesley's sitting here being like, oh, you're calling me old, yet he's hacking up a lung over here, trying not to laugh. And you got Charles over here, he's just telling him, do this. He's the nagging one in the relationship.
Good candy. By the way, under 100 laps to go now, by the way. Under 100 laps to go when we come to the restart. All right, Kevin Smith in front.
Was that the Riddler?
Who was it? Oh,
Yeah, that's the Joker.
Riddle me this. How come the top 6 ain't crashed each other yet? That's a good question.
Riddle me this. What lap will they actually crash at is the question, because they've been racing the heck out of each other these last few laps, Wesley. I mean, again, we talk about this track being 1.5 miles, and obviously the only track that I think you could really compare this to is probably the newer Atlanta. I mean, it's a drafting track, but they're way more compact and tight at that racetrack with the reduced horsepower and the aero package they have. But when you come here, it's still the same 1.5 mile package, just not the one they race at the new Atlanta and obviously Daytona and Talladega. But the draft is just so tremendous that you can get these massive runs, and we've seen these guys just swap the lead so many times. It's been awesome to watch. I'm really excited to see how this race goes to the finish.
Charles, be brave and put me on the camera real quick. Come on. How many people out there? How many people out there eat Werther's Originals, right? Well, actually, the word is suck on Werther's Originals. If you eat Werther's Originals, I'd hate to see what your teeth look like. You have to suck on them, though. Can I say that on the air, Jason? I already did.
Oh, he just done it. Let's just keep it that way. Let's move on. Oh, there he is. He's hacking us before.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Somebody's chiming in and they're like, Jose Juan Luis Herrera says NGL. What does NGL mean? Not gonna laugh?
Not gonna lie.
Not gonna lie. Butterscotch candy sounds amazing, though. Thank you.
It is.
I thought it was not gonna lie. I thought it was not gonna laugh.
No, it is not gonna lie. You said not gonna laugh though.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. Oh, we're coming off the rails. Let's get ready for the restart. This restart is brought to you by Werther's Originals.
No, it's not.
Caramel hard candies. Let's do it again, shall we? Pace car is on the pit lane. I'm going to choke on my candy. Let's go back to green. Kevin Smith in front. Whew. If we're not having fun, why the hell are we doing it, right, Jason?
Yeah, it's been a good time. It's been a great race, too. I mean, 39 laps already so far under the belt right now. These packs starting to kind of spread out up towards the front. The back, though, they're really, really tight coming off turn number 2. You can just see them fanning out 2, 3, almost 4 wide, like we saw at the last restart. Back into turn number 3, though, Devin West goes right back to the bottom. He has got a really fast truck on that 5. He nearly goes all the way to the lead by himself, but Dennis Moore pushes the 00 with that air, and so does the 25 of Ryan Bloom back to turn number 1. They're still side by side for the race lead, both West and Smith.
Oh, somehow they hold it together. And now here comes Devin West to the bottom. First race this year for the man out of Shelton, Washington. The young man be running modifieds again at his local dirt tracks in Washington State. And right now, Kevin Smith right there alongside. And here comes now Dennis Moore. He'll play wingman with the boss as they go back into turn 1. Brian Bloom's behind him also into 1.
Great battle up here at the front of this field. Kevin Smith, though, just can't clear Devin West, and Devin West can't clear Kevin Smith. They're still door to door. Oh, and Kevin Smith got a little loose coming off turn number 2. It hurt the momentum just a little bit, but Devin's still on the bottom there. He's going to need some help. Here comes Jeff Stab now to aid him here, going into 3 and 4. And Jeff's still a little bit farther back than Devin. He can't exactly give him the push he wants, though, but this outside is hanging tough compared to Devin on the bottom as they... Oh, we got a caution on the racetrack again coming out of turn number 4. I believe this time it could be Eric Bolton, Todd Miles. Eric Bolton takes the tow to the pits. I believe it's going to involve him and also the 7 of Brett Johnson.
So the caution out again. We'll take a look at the replay to find out what happened.
Loose. Oh my gosh, that was a hit.
Barnes into Bolton, man.
Bolton got
And the
loose.
7.
Man, that was a really, really wicked hit. Charles, I want to see real quick if we could take a look from Barnes' point of view possibly here. This is on board with Ron Hunter in the 30 machine, going down the back straightaway. It's like the 31 was just kind of gassing it up, and the tires just didn't want to grip it on. You're going to see there's the purple truck. He gets loose once, get loose twice, get loose 3 times. He's going to overcorrect it right here to the wall. Boom! Heavy impact. Hard with the right front. Everybody backs it down. Ron Hunter just turns the 62 machine of Todd Miles. So what a start for Todd Miles' Northwest career there, courtesy of the 30 of Ron Hunter. But everybody gets through there pretty well compared to those 2 drivers. But again, it's just so hard, Wesley, when you're on a little bit older tires. You come into these corners, you try to stick it on the throttle, and you just can't do it. You see the 31 bobble once. He comes down a little later than he should, saves it, and then the truck all of a sudden just starts getting around on him, and then Brian Barnes just gets run into in the back, and then there's a 31 truck just absolutely destroyed, and that's probably going to be the end of his night.
Let's look at it from one more view, one more time from the production truck. I think Charles might have found something a little bit more entertaining. On board with the new man here. Welcome to the series. Look out. Wow. There you go. See, that's what's supposed to happen. Yeah, that was. Well, never mind. That's not too soon. It's not supposed to happen like that. Oh, spoke too soon, Jason.
Yeah, that was a hard hit for sure. No doubt about it there. And now this, obviously, we've already had quite a few cautions here. I'm interested to see here if Devin West, now that he has this race lead, can he hold on against Kevin Smith and the rest of these drivers? Because this is a really competitive field up here at the front.
Does anybody pit? I don't think so. We'll take a quick break. We'll thank some sponsors. We're back with more from Vegas in a moment.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Drag race to the line.
Welcome back to iRacing on LSRTV as well as CRN. Welcome back. Jason Rockefeller, Charles Wooten in production and directing this chaos and mayhem. I am Wesley Outland. Round 3, Season 11, Roll the Dice 201. Started off pretty clean the first 15, 16 laps, but Jason, we've now had, 4 cautions in the last 25 laps, I think?
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see here, and coming down to this restart, again, I'm really interested to see if Devin West, though, can hold this lead against Kevin Smith and the rest of this good field behind him.
Field ready to come back again to the Geico restart zone, crossing the line. Devin West, who missed the first 2 weeks of the season, by the way. Ready to come back in a big way and make a big presence felt. By the way, if he wins this race, Jason, it is 1, 2, 3 race wins in a row for Team LSRTV CRN this year if they pull it off.
Yeah, and they have a great candidate up front to do that. I mean, Devin West, again, was so strong last season. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Wesley, because obviously I covered the Wednesday series with you last week, but didn't Devin West win the championship last year, I believe?
Yeah, for the Wednesday series, let me check real quick.
No, the truck series, I believe it was.
For season 10?
Yeah.
Of the championship? Yes, he did. He did win the championship, 6 points over Ryan Bloom. So he is the defending series champion. Yes, sir. Yep.
So great candidate to be out front to get 3 wins in a row for Team LSRTV. Doing a great job doing so. I mean, and he started on the pole in this race, and right now, I mean, remember, at the beginning of this race, he fell back to about 7th, 8th. Now he's all the way back up to 1st. Here's a driver, though, who is absolutely wheeling and dealing here tonight, and he is throwing it all up on the table, and he pitted 9 laps later. than the guys out front. Look at Toby Ritter's up 29 spots from where he started. Ryan Bloom as well, right back behind him. But Toby is coming to the front, man. He might go for the lead here in just a few minutes.
Watch them closing in. Here they come to the inside.
Oh,
Look at
big
Malik
block.
now on the outside. Look at the block there. Yes, it is. He's doing a block again. Here comes the 88 of Kynes. Back there behind the driver in the 23 of Ritters. Hold on, guys. Hold on to it. Ritter's looking for the lead. I told you. Here he comes, Jason.
Yeah, but look at Ryan Bloom, though, right back behind Devin. He's going to get that draft wake off the corner and down the back straightaway. They are going to freight train that number 3 machine, and they're going to bring along Dennis Moore and Kevin Smith right back behind him. And look who's up to 6th, James Vining and Chase Carrillo in the 125 as well in a respectable 6th and 7th place, utilizing those newer tires, doing a great job with it. Chris Kynes, Dan West Jr., Ryan Gormley, they're on the freshest tires out of anybody. They're making their way up to the front here as well.
Down that Nellis straightaway, the back stretch into turn 3. Devin West, Ryan Bloom, Toby Ritters thought about trying to go to the lead. He had to back out, and he stays to 3rd. 17 laps to the halfway mark of this race. Daytime, but cloudy conditions here at virtual Las Vegas. Jason, I got a feeling it is transitioning from, into the night. It's going to go to late in the afternoon to into the nightfall before this race ends.
Yeah, it very well, Wesley, could end up going into dusk here right at the brink of sundown. We're going to have to find out and see, obviously. I'm not too sure. I'm with you on that boat here. But some great battling throughout this entire field here. Hey, Charles, real quick, let's take a look at the weather conditions, see if they've changed
Might
at all
just be
since the start
cloudy.
of this race. Yeah, it's just been
cloudy
really cloudy. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Partially cloudy. Still 79 degrees. Wind speed hasn't really changed. Been dipping between 10 to 12 and still about 80-something degrees right now on the track. So, again, not really changing. This cloud cover's definitely helping the grip. But with, this track having somewhat of an abrasive surface, the tires wearing out quickly, we've seen a couple of drivers go around, especially off turn number 4 here tonight.
Kynes now falling back as here comes Gormley powering back to the inside. Dan West Jr. also there. All the while, Devin West in the lead. Bloom 2nd, Ritters 3rd, Moore, Smith top 5. There's Vining, there's Dan West Jr., that's 6th and 7th. Gormley, Kynes. You've got, of course, Carrillo in the mix in the top 10. Behind them, O'Hare and Newton trying to go after them guys. They're all single file, though. Back to 1, Jason.
I think this has probably been the most single file portion of the race that we have seen, Wesley. I mean, you see a couple guys ducking out of line. There's a couple guys going too wide right now. You see James Vining trying to get underneath. Kevin Smith can't. But here comes Dan West Jr. to the outside of Vining. Remember, he has the freshest tires out of everybody right now, and a couple other drivers do as well, with Ryan Gormley right back behind him as well. And the Shell machine, he has lap 35 tires as well. So they're only a couple, 20 laps or so old, but they're really, really fast right now. It's just about the draft. The draft plays such a factor here, and we're going to continue to talk about it the rest of the night. Draft. As you see, Ryan Bloom thought about ducking down the line there on Devin West for the race lead into turn number 3. Just can't do it. But everybody, this has probably, again, been the most single-file portion of the race we've seen so far here tonight.
And all the while, Devin West, the defending series champion, showing his strengths as the top dog. Bloom right there behind him. Jason, now that I think about Bud, do you remember the story with Devin West in both series? Remember, he had to bow out of one division, had to focus on the Monday series, literally had to fight schooling, had to fight work, and he came back and he won the championship. He literally had to win the final race, or he had to actually win the penultimate race to put himself in the championship 4, and then he did that, and he went on to win the championship.
Don't also mention the fact, too, that this kid was working on his race car probably, I can only imagine for sure. You talk about how he runs the modifieds for the dirt where he lives. So it's been really interesting to see how far Devin has come over the last couple of years. I remember last season we were covering the Wednesday because I know it was mainly you, Terry, myself, and Justin Prince covering last year for the Monday series. But, you know, I tried to be here when I could, but every time I would look, I would see Devin, and I was like, man, he's doing good. But look at the Wednesday series, man. He was doing phenomenal. So was his dad. His dad was doing great. And obviously, Devin West obviously had to bow out of the Wednesday series. Despite being super-duper dominant, he just barely made the cut, but couldn't even compete for the playoffs due to everything that happened. Beat it for the trucks, ended up winning the championship, and trying to get back-to-back here this season.
And Devin West right now, the man that leads the way. He's the Pied Piper, if you will. Currently. Look at now, Dennis Moore, Ritters, Smith. You saw a little glimpse of them real fast as we go back to O'Hare in 10th, but there they are. And Jason, as you said, man, that they're all just single file.
Yeah, I think everybody's just kind of trying to save a little bit of tire right now. They know that they've got a long green flag run here left to go on lap 61 out of 134. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'd probably say when you look at the pit stops probably coming up, most of these guys pitted around lap number 16, some at lap 25, some at lap 35. So you got 3 different cycles. Then you got Troy Daggett, who last pit on lap 42. The same can be said for Ron Hart, Jeff Stabnow, lap 44. You know, they're running faster than everybody else. It's just hard to get that track position right now. So there's about 3 to 4 different cycles right now, or rather strategies, you know, tire life runs that we've seen so far here tonight. And everybody is pretty much equalized besides the guys who are on lap 45, 44 tires, some 42. So, I mean, it's really hard to see. I can say if these guys run the way they are and they go green, you're probably looking to see guys come in around the lap 75 to maybe 85, 90 at most. I'd say you'd see guys probably start to pit sometime around then.
And approaching halfway as well. The mid-race report coming up here. As right now, so far, first part of the race, very exciting, door to door. Then things for now has got single file after about a handful of cautions. Let's take a look at the race summary as we approach cross flags here in the Roll the Dice 201 here at Sim City, Las Vegas. Round 3, and it's presented by Virginia811.com, closing in 4 cautions, 13 caution laps of 63 total on the racetrack, and 10 lead changes. And again, Jason, I think honestly they kind of, you know, they finally realized, okay, maybe we're getting a little too aggressive here. You know, we need to knock out the first 100 miles, first 150 miles. Let's get to lap 100, and then we can battle the final 35 laps to decide the win.
Yeah, I mean, more than likely, you know, but again, it's just the typical style of how these mile-and-a-half racetracks go usually. You'll have long green flag runs. Sometimes you can have a lot of cautions, a lot of aggressive driving. We've seen some drivers be super aggressive here tonight. But, I mean, nothing really out of the ordinary for a truck race at a mile-and-a-half. This is what you would normally see. You got one guy who kind of dominates. You got a few guys who are stragglers that kind of ride along, but they still have a fast enough truck to compete for the win. I mean, look at Kevin Smith. He dominated the first quarter of this race pretty much, and now he's running back in 5th, working on the inside of Toby Ritters there for 4. Oh no! And as I say that, he's going to get turned. Oh my goodness! What a save by the 00 of Kevin Smith right off the front bumper of Dan West Jr. That might be save of the night.
That is all I can say. My goodness, what a save. Wow. Do we have a replay of that? halfway. Look out! West got a shot. O'Hare, Kynes got loose. What a save again for Dan West Jr., Jason. He could have went around in the 55, and he saved it.
Yeah, that's amazing for him. I'm just so surprised, too, the fact that they were both able to save it, both the 55 with his deal and obviously the 00 off the front bumper of Dan West Jr. Some of these guys, tires are starting to wear out. You know, you see the 20 or the 27 there of Paul Newton, or the 21 rather, Tyler King there. Similar number of fonts there. Kind of just traveled up the hill, nearly got into the door of Chris Kynes, and entering turns 3 and 4 there. They're under fire from Roy Grande as well back behind them. So tires definitely starting to give out. You're going to start to see guys, like I said, pit here sometime around lap 75, maybe 85, 90 at most because of the tire wear. So we'll see, though. It's going to be interesting. I remember, and here's the interesting thing, Wesley, that we did not mention. No cautions here 1 year ago. So,
right.
We've already had a few.
That's right.
How is this going to shape up? This race has completely changed compared to what you remember last year as now. If this race were to go green to the end, it was a strategy. It was awesome. Great finish. You don't know what to expect. So your pit strategy might be what wins you this race here.
Hit the nail on the head perfectly right there, my friend. It's right now halfway home, ready for the second half of this one, 100 miles down. And you see Devin West, Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore starting to pull away. Jason, I'll be honest, man, I think we could see green flag pit stops coming up here within the next probably 30 laps or less.
Yeah, like I had just mentioned, I mean, 85 to 90, 95 laps maybe. You know, that's when you're going to start, or that's 85 rather, but 75. Oh, here we go. As I say that, here comes Devin West. He comes into the pits. Dennis Moore comes in late, but follows right in tow behind him. Might be close on speeding there. Well, they'll come to pit road, and now this opens up the floodgates, Wesley. Who's going to come next and take advantage of this?
Jason, you think they're going for the undercut? Because we were thinking lap 85, 90.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say so. I mean, these guys last pitted at lap 35, but they very well could be. They just want to do that undercut, try to split it up maybe into two. They want to try to go a little bit and then pit again one more time. Again, it's just really hard to say, but it was a great call if you're Devin West because you don't want to see drivers come into the pits before you, take advantage of those four fresh Goodyear Eagles, gain lap time and track position on you, then next thing you know, you pit late, and then you find yourself towards the back.
And you see them on the pit exit as the 5 back joining the crowd, and he will fall back, I guess, behind the top 20, no doubt. As all this happening with lap 75 upon us, Ryan Bloom is now the new leader. If scoring updates correctly, Ryan Bloom the leader, Kevin Smith second, Ryan Gormley third, Dan West Jr. fourth, Stephen O'Hare now in the top 5. And yes, all of them are going to have to pit eventually. You know this, Jason.
Yeah, they all have to pit here. Here comes Kevin Smith. Looks like he's coming in this time by. Got to be easy. This is a very tricky pit road to get onto. We've seen a lot of drivers either miss it or spin out here coming to pit road because of the way that it's arced going down off turn number 4. There's Ryan Bloom. He's in as well. I know Chase Carrillo. He just came out of the pits as well. More drivers to come. This is like a waiting game here, Wesley. It's going to be interesting because it's like they're playing chess. Who's going to make their move when? Who's timing it right? Oh, you see Kevin Smith actually overshoot the pit box there. Able to back it up, though. But again, it's like a game of chess. Who's going to pick their move, when and where, and who's going to come out on top here in the end?
Gormley now. The man that had a phenomenal run in the Xfinity Series on Wednesday nights last year. Now showing his strengths as the top dog. Dan West Jr. behind him as more drivers are pitting. And while that goes on, Gormley is showing his opportunity to lead the Northwest faithful of Monday night into turn 2.
Yeah, he's battling with Dan West Jr. and then Stephen O'Hare right back behind them. 1, 2, 3 as they hit the back straightaway. Approaching that 557 machine there of Terry Ackerman into turns 3 and 4. But you see Gormley working the bottom of the racetrack. They're not going to pit yet. They've stayed out long enough. I believe they're going to pit probably around lap 85 maybe, depending. But again, the longer you go, the more it's going to hurt you. So they might be hoping for a caution here, trying to trap down Devin West, Ryan Bloom, Toby Ritters, all of them who pitted early on and are 1, 2, 3 when this fully cycles out. We'll have to see here as they work down the back straightaway.
Gormley West, and now look at this, the Taco Bell entry. Roy Grande used to be in the 18, Jason. He's in the 11 now. Good solid run for him on the track in the top 20, but he's a lap down.
Yeah, he's a lap down right now, but again, once this all cycles out, it's looking like he's going to come out in the 4th position. So this is a great night for Roy Grande. Started up obviously inside the top 10, I believe it was, or just shy of it in 10th or 11th. Doing a great job tonight in that 11 machine. Going to see what he can do. Dana Rogers finally comes into the pits this time by. It's only a matter of time before we start seeing everybody else come in as well.
Rogers on pit road. Lap number 80, green flag pit stops. Gormley still the man down the back straightaway. That Nellis straightaway, and Jason, as we see that, here comes Dan West Jr. I think he's just toying with the young man right now, waiting patiently. That veteran, 2-time series champion in the double nickel, ready to pounce, and there he goes to the inside.
Here comes Dan West Jr. down to the inside, battle for the lead, but once they pit, it will not be for the lead, but at the time it is. And you see them battling one another. Dan West Jr. gets by, but here comes Devin West. He's going to be the first driver through that cycle of green flag pit stops, Wesley, to put himself back on the lead lap. If he can just get around him, he runs up into the back of Gormley almost into turn number 3. And while his dad gets away, Devin's going to go to the bottom of the 22, who nearly slaps the wall off turn 4.
West, Gormley, O'Hare. By the way, Devin West, first truck a lap down, trying to fight back to get on the lead lap. Battles his dad on the inside. The leader as Dan West Jr. in the front. Gormley back to second. More drivers are pitting. And they're going to have to pit eventually as well as Paulison and Hunter go at it here on the track for the top 10.
Yeah, everybody right now, Wesley, I'm looking at the scoring pylon from obviously Dan West Jr. in first. Go all the way down to Sean Breitzman in 13th. They all pitted between the laps of 35 and 43 as we work on lap 84. So 13 drivers still need to come into the pits. The guys who pitted around the lap 42 to 45 mark, they can go a little bit longer here. So you're probably looking at lap maybe 100. I think, Wesley, they're trying to make this race probably just a one-stopper from here on out. The rest of them, though, they might have to go 2 stops.
And that could really hurt the strategy of this race if these guys make these 2 stops instead of the one-stopper. No doubt. We're approaching now lap number 85 when they come to the line, this time by West, O'Hare, Gormley, Newton, Daggett now the top 5. Remember, Troy Daggett had a top 3 podium last week in Atlanta. Drivers 1 and 2 in the point. As a matter of fact, Jeff Stabdow, Troy Daggett, Ryan Gormley, as we just watch him in 3rd, separated by only 7 points.
Yeah, and it's been a really good start to the year for some of these guys. I mean, you look at the point standings right now. Troy Daggett, Jeff Stabnow, the only drivers to go 2 for 2 with top 5 so far this season. Both of them are not in the top 5, though. Stabnow is currently inside the top 10. So is Daggett. Actually, no, Troy Daggett is in the top 5. So currently sitting in 5th right now. But again, still needs to make a pit stop. So does Jeff Stabnow. As you see, I believe that's the 58 machine of Stephen Paulus, and he's in. So is Brett Johnson. But a great start to the year for both Jeff Stabnow and Troy Daggett, trying to continue. A couple other drivers, Gormley, Barnes, they both have 2 for 2 on the top 10 so far this season. Sean Brightsman, remember, got that win last week at Atlanta. He's got 1 top 5, 1 top 10 to his name here so far. Jumped up 16 positions in the points, actually, 1 week ago from Atlanta. Dan Lowther jumped up 12. Tyler Kane jumped up 14. So did Chris White, despite, obviously, the heartbreaker for him late in the going, leading the race, got caught up in an incident. So far, a good start to the season for some of these drivers, but they got to keep that momentum going.
Green flag pit stops continue. Chris Kynes on the pit lane. And here comes a lot of the front runners now, like we predicted. Gormley, O'Hare, Dan West Jr., Newton, King, all on pit road, Jason.
Yeah, they all come down to pit road this time by for what would probably be their final stop of the night. They can pretty much make it from here on out, I'd say, Wesley. As you see them all on pit road again, West, King, O'Hare, Newton, Gormley, they're all out now. Troy Daggett, Jeff Stabnow, Ron Hunter, Brian Barnes, Sean Brightsman still yet to pit, but it's still Devin West, who right now, once this all cycles through, is going to maintain that lead, and it's looking like it's going to be about a 3-second gap over Ryan Bloom in that 25.
Stabnow right there in second spot. There you see him. Obviously, I know that the Trading Paints app is not working properly for this event. But whatever that case, he is looking for another solid run. It would be a second win in the season if he gets it, and it would be his third top 5 and third top 10 of the year, Jason, if he pulls it off. The points leader, Jeff Stabnow. And Troy Daggett, by the way, in the lead. They're 1 and 2 in the points.
Yeah, but again, though, they have to come into the pit stops. And here comes Troy this time by. I can only imagine that Jeff will probably be making his stop this time by coming in as well. So Troy elects to come down to the pits. Only a few more drivers to pit, and then it's going to fully cycle through.
So getting exciting as we approach lap 100. The dogs are barking. As Stabnow is the new leader. Daggett on pit road. We await Hunter and Stabnow to pit. As Troy Daggett came in. And here comes Brightsman.
So is Stabnow coming into the pits this time by. Ryan Hunter as well. A little bit of damage to the 46 machine of Sean Brightsman. Right on the right rear quarter panel, the back bumper, and also the door handle on that machine.
No fast repair. Remember, they got to go to the damage clock to try to fix it. If not, it's just a little cosmetic lipstick. He'll stay right back out there. By the way, cycle back around. Guess who's to the lead? Devin West again in the 5.
Yeah, no surprise there for Devin West. I mean, obviously, he has had the truck here tonight for sure. Just doing a really great job trying to pick up right from where he left off last year, with the championship. You look at last season here, he finished all the way back at 13th, Wesley. Finished 6 laps down. So pretty much, despite the fact it was only a 15-truck race, it still was obviously a bad finish for Devin West. So what more would he want than to come out here and win at a track that, kind of plagued him last year?
There's Brightsman. We watch him back on course. As he is back now, 1 lap down in 20th. Let's go back to the leaders as Devin West, as we forementioned, is the guy that is up in front. There he is, the number 5. Devin West, remember, he came down to the pit lane and started this sequence of pit stops, Jason. What was that, around lap 80, I think it was, 79, 80. He came down pit road, and then all of a sudden, 20 laps later, he's right back in the lead again.
Yeah, right back in the lead, and Ryan Bloom is back by 2.2 seconds here with just a handful of laps to go, obviously. So, I mean, if you're Ryan Bloom, you're hoping for a caution, man. That's what you really want. But obviously, I don't know. With the trend that we had last year with no cautions, we've had a few here tonight. But obviously, the fact is now that these guys are so strung out, there's not really necessarily an opportunity to have a yellow unless you get a couple guys maybe side by side. Somebody makes a mistake. And it's not out of the question. It can happen, but it's going to be very hard for Ryan Bloom or Kevin Smith to want a caution. They pitted 3 laps later than Devin West, and they're running a little bit faster, but at some point, the closer they get to them, the more the tires are going to wear out and the less ground they're going to make up. So they have to be mindful of that, obviously. Dan West Jr., though, setting some blistering lap times right now. Both him and Ryan Gormley in the 38s, everybody else in the 31.8s. So these guys pitted over 15 laps more. They could very well be in the catbird seat, maybe.
So Devin West, the defending series champion, in front. There you see now the man behind him, Dad West, in 6th, 7th, 8th. That is West, Gormley, and Johnson, by the way. Johnson in the 7, a lap down. Jason, got a question for you as we continue to watch them circulate around the racetrack to put lap 100 on the board officially now. Next time around with 34, now make it 35 laps to go. Can they go the distance? Do you think these guys can go to the finish of the race? Unless we get a late race caution, obviously. But do we have what we have for the finish of the race as far as no more pit stops?
Let me pull out my little handy-dandy calculator here, Wesley. So if you look at this, 134 minus 88,
so that's about 46 laps for the guys who pitted on lap 88. I think they are definitely going to be able to make it, considering the fact that they ran so long on that set of green flag pit stops.
I think when you look at it, though, if you take 134 and subtract, obviously, the 74, 72, so let's just say 73.
That's 61 laps you're going until the distance. There's no way you're going to be able to make it. I think that you could probably maybe make it on fuel, but you're going to have to save a little bit. You know, maybe save a lap or so, or maybe even 2, maybe 3. I can't see these guys who pitted around the lap 70 to 75 mark making it all the way, but I can definitely see the guys who more than likely pitted at lap 88 to 92. And with everybody, Wesley, right now, too, running single file, you know, let's be honest, there's not really a whole lot going on. It's like I mentioned, once they started that green flag pit stop cycle, it was a game of chess. You waited for somebody to make their move, they made it, they're going to see if it works out, and we're going to see who's on top at the end. It's just a waiting game of chess here, these next 33 laps, to see who's going to come out on top, who's got enough fuel, who's got the tires, who's got the truck, the mentality, everything. There's so much that goes on to the end of these races. That's why I love it. And yeah, we're going to find out and see who's got enough of what it takes here. I think if you want my opinion, if you want somebody who I think is probably in the best position, Jeff Stabnow, Troy Daggett, and Ron Hunter. I know I said somebody, that's 3 guys, but I think Jeff Stabnow might be in the catbird seat. And I'm not saying that because he's part of LSRTV and all this and that, but he pitted at lap 92. He can go well over the distance. He's only going to have 40 laps or so
to the end. He can make it on fuel. He can make it on that set of tires. I think Jeff might be the one probably who could shock everybody as he's continuing to move up here in the scoring pylon.
Very well said. As we approach now 30 laps to go. Down into the corner. Your leader is still Devin West. There's Jeff Stabnow, by the way. Stabnow outside the top 10 in 11th. He is on the lead lap. Daggett is right there behind him. And how about this, Jason? Only fitting third race of the year. These guys are 1 and 2 in the points, and they're right there stalking one another on the track.
Yeah, they're definitely stalking each other right now. I mean, and they both have equal tires. One pit at lap 91, that being Daggett. Stabnow at lap 92. So they're on fresher tires compared to the rest of the field. Stabnow was a little bit faster that last lap. But the one thing that Troy Daggett can do, Wesley, he could save a little bit more because he's going to have that draft wake of Jeff Stabnow. So that's going to be interesting to see if they do, in fact, get to the front and battle for the lead. If everything goes to plan, like they probably think the same that I'm doing, who's going to have the better tires at the end? It's all going to come down to clean air and tires. I mean, you have Jeff Stabnow, who's got clean air. Is Troy Daggett going to try to pass him right now, or is he just going to save by riding around behind Jeff Stabnow? But obviously, he can't let him hold him up. If he knows he's faster, get around the guy. Don't let him stall you out, because every second, every tenth is valuable here in these closing laps.
And there is those drivers, as we mentioned, 1 and 2 in the points. Stabnow, Daggett right there behind him, lurking. As it is still Devin West. Oh, here we go. Roy Grande on pit road. Late pit stop. Grande, last time he pitted. Oh. Is he going for a strategy? Yeah, he had to pit. He had no choice.
Yeah, he wasn't going to make it, clearly. And I think that he was playing that two-stopper, just like everybody else is probably doing. So, hey, here he comes. Here they come. Devin West, Ryan Bloom. They're making their stops now. A lot of guys coming in this time. So is Toby Ritters.
Amazing. This totally changes everything. Because honestly, Jason, if you pitted around lap 89, 90 or so, you got a shot to win this thing. Jeff Stabnow, Troy Daggett, guess when they pitted? Lap 92. So did Ron Hunter. So did Brian Barnes and Sean Brightsman. Dennis Moore. I think you just put them in the catbird seat to possibly pull an upset here.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I might have very well predicted right. I mean, everybody else looks like they're going to be having to come down to pit road. I think Jeff and Troy can very well make it. I mean, with the time that they made on the racetrack compared to the leaders, the question for me, Wesley, is going to be is with these 20, coming up 20 laps to go, does Devin West, does, Ryan Bloom, all these other guys, do they have the time? Do they have the time to catch Jeff Stabnow and Troy Daggett? We're going to have to find out and see.
Ryan Gormley. And now you see the 22 up in front. How long can he hold on to that position as there's the 55. Dan West Jr. in tow. And behind him, meanwhile, is O'Hare, the 41. Johnson right there, as we mentioned, a lap down. Couple of laps down, actually. These drivers right here could possibly fight it out for the win. But don't count out Stabnow and Daggett and Paulison. They're coming fast and in a hurry, Jason, on lap 113 this time by.
Yeah, this is going to be so interesting to see how this is all going to play out again. Gormley, Dan West Jr., O'Hare, Newton, King, all those guys last pitted lap 88. They are just a few laps behind on Jeff Stabnow and Troy Daggett's strategies. Ron Hunter as well. Same thing we said for Sean Brightsman, Brian Barton. But Troy Daggett and Jeff Stabnow are in the best positions compared to anybody else. The question is going to be, is do Gormley, West, O'Hare, Newton, King have to pit? Again, it's just a waiting game. We'll have to see, but, you know, a caution could change this whole complexity of this race.
Gormley in the lead right now. Let's see what Gormley's done this year. He's third in the points. 7 points back to Stabnow. 1 top 5, 2 top 10s for the 22. If he was to win this race, he would make the 3rd different winner of the year. And in addition to that, probably might propel him as a new points leader if he can pull this off with 20 to go, Jason.
Yeah, it very well could, obviously. We're just going to have to find out and see here for Ryan Gormley if it can pay off. But it's no easy sailing for him. He's got Dan West Jr., Stephen O'Hare right back behind him. And remember last season, Wesley, you guys had no cautions. It ended up being a great finish, you know, with obviously, you know, Kevin Smith and Dennis Moore, nearly a photo finish, I believe it was. They had a great battle there at the end. All come down to strategy. Here comes Dan West Jr. He's working to the bottom of Ryan Gormley. Battle for the lead here with just 19 laps to go out of 2.
And remember, there is lap traffic up ahead. Nichols and others as they work off the corner. Let's take us to the top of the hour, 10 seconds. Network identification, and we'll go to the finish next. This is iRacing on LSRTV and CRN, the Community Radio Network.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
iRacing on LSRTV, CRN, and the finish of this one. And the Roll the Dice 201, Jason Rockefeller, Charles Wooten on production director. I'm Wesley Outland, and this is down to 15 to go. Can they make it on that last time they pitted at lap 88? Jason says yes. Other guys that were around lap 70 had no choice but to pit. It eliminated them from the equation. Drivers like Devin West, Kevin Smith, Ryan Bloom, and others. Devin West, Jason, first race of the year for the defending champion, and he's trying to roll the dice here in Sim City.
Yeah, I mean, the 5 of Devin West, he's sitting in 10th right now, but back by 28.5 seconds. He's going to run out of time. There's no doubt about it. The question's going to be is, can these guys make it? Like you said, Wesley, I personally think they can. Oh, whoa, we almost got a yellow. Look at the 22 sideways. The 41 up into the wall. They're able to save
What
it,
a save.
And that's
Wow.
going to take them pretty much out of the equation. They might have just handed this win to Dan West Jr.
What an amazing save right there for both of those drivers. No caution, but in the process, it has opened up about a 1.3 second lead for DWJ. Dan West Jr. is up in front. I said Devin West. My apologies. I meant his dad. By the way, Jason, if he wins, third straight win for a Team LSRTV CRN Competitor of the Year.
Yeah, and it would be awesome to see them go to victory lane with Dan West Jr. I mean, you had Devin up there, but if you can't have Devin, last year's champion, why not have his father? Why not have big DWJ up there? Doing a great job. You know, last minute lap 88, like we talked about, he's got that 1.3 second buffer to second and third with Stephen O'Hare and Ryan Gormley still duking it out almost. Man, I don't know. 11 laps to go. It's going to be a nail biter possibly, but I just don't know. The only guy who I could see, the two drivers rather, who I could see, but really the one, Troy Daggett, last pit at lap 91. He's running pretty much the same lap times, a little about maybe a tenth faster. I mean, he's running out of time. I don't see him being, really a factor. But I mean, one caution, and this whole race gets flipped upside down.
Dan West Jr. 10 to go here at Vegas. There's Gormley. There is, of course, O'Hare. King. Can he get in the battle? Can he make it happen? Will we see a late race caution? We haven't had a caution since we had that little spell right before the halfway mark. 4 yellow flags so far. And now we watch O'Hare trying to thread the needle, get around lap traffic, get it around Gormley, get it around, obviously, Ray Fournier, the lap machines of Grande. And Jason, he tries to set his sights on Dan West Jr. I just don't think he's got enough time. He's got him in his sights, but he doesn't have enough time, though.
Yeah, he just does not have enough time. He's going to need a caution for sure. He's back by 1.010 or 1.10 right now. I can't see this 41 here, Wesley, getting to the back of this 55. It's going to be really tough to do so. He's going to have lap traffic get out of the way. Dan West Jr. and all of a sudden fall off big time. But that last time around, DWJ faster than Stephen O'Hare by about a tenth of a second almost.
There he is. Shelton Washington, SunWest led in the race earlier, and now that counts the most when the payout window opens. Getting all those chess pawns in order for checkmate. Daddy, 2-time series champion. Wheeling and dealing, making it happen here at Sim City at Vegas. And Jason, this is a track that Dan West Jr. is not a stranger to winning at.
Yeah, he's not a stranger to winning that, obviously. He's won here in the past. You look at last season as well. He came home in third. He led the most laps, led 74 that night. It was probably a night of what could have been, you could say, for the driver of the 55, but he had strong competition with Kevin Smith in that race, Dennis Moore. Kevin went on to lead 58. Dennis finished second, didn't lead a single dang lap that night. So he's looking for redemption here tonight. He's just got to finish around for 5.5 more laps. He's got a 1.5 gap back to second. Will the fuel hold off? Does he have enough? I think he does, but, I mean, again, we don't know.
Single digits, and now down to 5 to go at the line for Dan West Jr. when they come to the stripe. There you see now Paulison. Good run for the 58 tonight. He's in 8th. Ron Hunter 9th. Remember, Jason, Ron had problems earlier in the race. He came back and rallied and got himself a top 5 run right now. Top 10, correction, on the racetrack. Let it go.
Yeah, great job, obviously. You know, for a lot of these drivers, though, that they're inside the top 10. You know, Ron Hunter started right inside the top 10. He's still in it. Stephen Paulison up 19 spots. He's sitting in 8th right now. Great run for him. There was a night of what could have been for a lot of these guys, especially one that comes to mind, too, is Frank Harris. He started up towards the front. He's currently back in that 18th position, 1 lap down. Tough night for the 77 machine. Tough night for some of these guys as well. But not tough night so far for Dan West Jr. He's got just 3 more laps, and he's going to be a first-time winner this season.
Three laps to go for Dan West Jr. back straightaway to the Nellis straightaway. And Jason, you can start to see it's starting to get a little dark, but it's still daylight here at Vegas with 2 to go as they come off 4.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. I mean, will the fuel hold off for this 55 machine? We'll have to see.
Oh, yeah.
He's pulled out now to a 2.1 second gap. He's just got 2 more laps around before he can call this race his. Doing a great job all night long, led about the second half of it. Did a great call coming in at lap 88 with all the different strategies. It looks like it might pay off. He's just got to come around for another 1.5 miles coming up.
And as you said, it's still daylight, but it's definitely coming to the end of the day. Here comes Dan West Jr. to the line. The CRN 1 to go. More details at wearecrn.com. This week, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, softball, and even racing, real and iRacing. Final lap for Dan West Jr. Jason, take us to the checker.
Dan West Jr., so strong last season. Did a great job here tonight. Gambled, pitted at lap 88. Most pitted at lap 92. Stayed out. It's going to come home the winner. Dan West Jr. is going to win here at Las Vegas. Gets it done. Rolled the dice correctly. And he's going to cash out with a lot here tonight. Great job for DWJ, Wesley.
And in addition to that, Team LSRTV CRN 1, 2, 3 wins this year. Shades of what Hendrick did yesterday at Martinsville and Cup. 1, 2, 3 on the year for the first 3 races of the season for these drivers of Team LSRTV. Make no doubt they're trying to make their presence known that this is the year for them of 2024. Dan West Jr. wins, and the interval was 2.5 seconds from Stephen O'Hare, Ryan Gormley. Going to be nice to chat with these guys as here comes Jason, the Northwest high five salute Bazinga, who's going to T-bone the double nickel first.
I don't know. We're about to find out and see here. He's doing his burnout now, so it's looking all normal. We're waiting for it. We know it's coming. It's just going to be when, and I feel like now that I say it's going to happen probably right now. Oh, yeah, there it is. as I say it, there we go. Oh, and his son kills him, man.
Yeah. He's still available. Slim Pickens. Whoa, Brett Johnson, his teammates sent him airborne and flip it. Oh, did you see what Stabdown just did? A little clip, and he got him airborne again.
Wow.
Gotta love it. Ray Fournier trying to keep the demo derby going. Stabdown clipped him and got him to flip. You didn't see it? You don't remember? Let the celebration begin. Okay, he's out. Jason, I'll let you give your thoughts, man, before we give the results of the race, buddy. Always fun working with you. See you next week at Richmond for some short track racing, brother.
Yeah, that should be absolutely awesome. Really looking forward to it. Always a great race. Comes down to strategy as well, like tonight did. Interesting race for sure. A lot of the guys we thought were going to be up at the front there late in the going weren't due to the strategy, and obviously DWJ picks up that first win of the year. Might be more to come, though.
Jason, we'll see you next week. He's going to step away and get us some shut-eyes. He got to get up early for work tomorrow. As you see, the lights are on. It's not nighttime yet. It's just at dusk. But here's the results here for the Roll the Dice 201 at Vegas. Dan West Jr. picks up the win. Third win now for Team LSRTV in a row. Stephen O'Hare second. Ryan Gormley, good points day, will finish third. Tyler King fourth. Troy Daggett ahead of Stab now in the points. Possibly when they update, he's fifth. Sixth is Paul Newton. Jeff Stab now, good solid top 10 again. Seventh, Stephen Paulison eighth. What a good drive for Ron Hunter. Also Devin West to come back in the top 10.
Yeah,
there's the rest of the rundown of drivers. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jason. I thought you already both.
No, I'm still here.
Smith,
I'm still here.
Devin
I got to
Smith
give
was
down the
11th.
rundown.
Go ahead.
Kevin Smith, P11 there. Brian Barnes, 12th. Obviously, Roy Grande A really strong night for him in the top 5 earlier on. Obviously fell out of it there. Finishes 13th, 1 lap down. Ritter, same thing for him, man. Was battling for the race lead, 14th tonight. You got Brightsman, Bloom, Moore, all guys who were up at the front of this field earlier. Frank Harris talked about him, started up at the front, falls back. Chad Malik, James Vining there, Wesley, rounds out your top 20.
There you go. And of course, Chris Kynes. All these guys, lap downs or more, out of the race, including Brett Johnson, Chris White, Terry Ackerman, Dana Rogers, Ray Fournier, Chase Carrillo, Nichols, Marcy, Lonning, welcome to the series. Todd Miles and Eric Bolton, all right there in unison, 30th through 32nd. Having problems, obviously, William Fletcher, Carl Burke, and Scott Hutchinson did not start the race. One more look at the race summary. There it is, 4 cautions, 16 caution laps, 19 lead changes, and when we come back, we grab the podium. Don't go anywhere. iRacing, LSRTV, and CRN. Dan West Jr. wins at Vegas. Way back to iRacing on LSRTV. The time for the post-race wrap-up. Let's grab Dan West Jr. He joins Sean Brightsman last week at Atlanta, Daytona winner. Jeff Stab now. And, man, what a year for you guys, Dan. What a way to come out of the box after missing last week, making your presence felt and getting a victory here at Vegas, a track you really like. I know what you do.
Yeah, I really like this track. It's a lot more fun once the tires start getting some wear on them. But I felt like we had a really good truck. I really don't know where we would have stacked up against like Devin and Kevin and Win Racing there. Because I felt like in the beginning we were just kind of taking care of our stuff. So I think obviously fuel strategy is what paid off.
Had a really good, strong run, man. Obviously, that strategy of the pits, seeing guys go for 2 pit stops, 3 pit stops. I think you went for only 2. Was that the going into the race what you needed to do? And obviously, man, you really didn't have the help of your teammates around you very much. It was you were kind of on your own there at the end.
Yeah, we all got kind of split up there, didn't we? I mean, I seen Win Racing was pretty much all packed together still. But I think we just were on different strategies, and we had some incidents to where we had some guys had to pit, some didn't. So it just kind of come down to fuel strategy towards the end there. So I mean, I had a great time racing against Ryan and Stefan again. As you know, Stefan and I seem to come across the finish line within inches of each other. So congratulations to those guys. Ryan got by me there towards the end. I knew that was going to be for the race win, so I just trying to take care of my tires. I kept getting really tight, especially behind him, so I kind of let him get out there a little bit to try to save my stuff. And I don't know if Ryan was getting loose or it appeared that way, but it kind of paid off.
Well, Bud, we'll let you thank your sponsors. We'll see you next week at Richmond. Going to be a little short track racing, different than this track for sure.
Thanks, Wesley. I'd like to thank Effective Web Solutions, LSRTV, CRN, LSRTV. You guys are awesome up there. I love going back and watching races. Thank you again.
Dan West Jr. picking up the win. Makes the 3rd different winner for Team LSRTV this year. I'm waiting to see the points update as well. And
Dan was doing a pretty to them, but felt like lap cars were pretty disrespectful and didn't get the opportunity to go up there and battle Dan for the win. But congratulations to Dan. It was a fun race, and glad we got to finish that one under green.
Well, Bud, I'll tell you what, man. Stefan, you have obviously this year, it's obviously, 2 top 10 finishes, 1 top 5. Consistency, do you think that's going to be able to put you in the playoffs, or are you hungry to try to get a win here before the season goes to the playoffs?
Oh, yeah, we're going for wins. Top 10s and 5s. I guess they look cool on the stat sheet, but no, we're going for wins.
All right, buddy. Thank your sponsors. We'll see you next week at Richmond.
All right, thank you, guys. Yeah, just like to thank Beaver State Racing. Awesome set of guys there, Tyler and Paul. They had good finishes tonight. Of course, Nicole Brand Photography. So, thank you, guys. Good night.
Stephen O'Hare, solid run. He's only now in the top 5 of the points, 5th point in the point 17 back, by the way, to the leader of Jeff Stab now with a points update. And last but not least, tied in that battle with Troy Daggett with 3, Ryan Gormley. He now has 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s. Consistency prodigy, your take-up tonight here at Sim City, ready for Richmond next week.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was definitely, man, Dan, he knows his trucks well, he knows how to set them up, and I came to this race not really knowing where I was going to be put up against the field, and obviously playing the fuel strategy worked out in my favor. I knew if I could keep up with Dan, we had something. He was right. I knew it was between me and him, and I got by him, but I was better in 1 and 2, but he was way better in 3 and 4, and that's definitely what got it.
Well, Bud, I'll tell you what, a solid drive. Let's just talk about how the season's been. Are you having fun being able to run with the big boys in the truck series compared to what you did in Xfinity?
Oh, yeah. Like open setups, I'm by myself. I don't have a team putting setups together, and so, I really just used the iRacing setup and just tweaked it a little bit this week. So, who knows? But coming into the season open-minded, try not to be so stressed out.
Well, buddy, it's on to Richmond next week. Before we let you go, thank your sponsors.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the guys up in the booth, LSRTV, all the guys that put on this show, put in a lot of work. Jeff Stab now, and Sean Breisman and those guys. So, CRN, and thanks everybody for watching.
Ryan Gormley will finish in 3rd. And, of course, that will wrap things up here at Vegas. Don't forget, next week we're at Richmond Raceway. And, of course, again, we'll see how things can go. No doubt with the continuation of Season 11, Team LSRTV carrying the momentum of the season early with, of course, Jeff Stabnow, Daytona winner, Atlanta winner, being, of course, Sean Breitzman, and now Dan West Jr. For Rocket Racing Media, iRacing on LSRTV and CRN. For Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, and Jason Rockefeller, this is Wesley Outland. Good evening from Las Vegas. Congrats again to Dan West Jr., winner of the Roll the Dice 201. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you next Monday. Short track racing, baby. Richmond Raceway. Good evening.